She had worked her whole life for this moment, the chance to buy a home, to finally put down roots for her family. The papers were ready, the offer strong, and the dream within reach. But at the last second, everything shifted. The smile on the realtor's face faded, the tone sharpened, and suddenly the door to opportunity slammed shut. Not because of money, not because of credit, but because of something she could never change. What happened next would not just expose one realtor's prejudice. It would uncover a twist no one saw coming. Would justice find its way back? Her name was Dana, a young professional who had spent years climbing the ladder in her career, saving every extra dollar, dreaming of the day she could buy her own home. She wasn't chasing luxury, just stability, a place where her children could grow up safe, where holidays could be celebrated under one roof. After months of searching, she found it. A modest but beautiful house in a quiet neighborhood, with a yard big enough for family barbecues and a front porch that reminded her of her grandmother's home. Everything felt right. She walked into the real estate office with hope in her chest and confidence in her stride. But as she handed over her pre-approval letter, she couldn't shake the feeling that the realtor's polite smile masked something colder. A shift so subtle it almost went unnoticed. Almost. What Dana didn't know was that this meeting, which should have been the beginning of her dream, was about to reveal the bitter reality that even success and preparation couldn't shield her from prejudice. Dana had rehearsed this day in her mind countless times. What it would feel like to finally walk into an office and claim the home she had worked so hard for. At first, everything seemed routine. The realtor glanced over her documents, her income, her spotless credit history. But then, the questions started. Not about her finances, but about her. Did she really think this neighborhood would be the right fit? Had she considered areas better suited for her family? The tone wasn't overtly hostile, but the message was clear. She wasn't welcome. Each word stung, but Dana stayed calm. She had the paperwork, the proof. She met every requirement. Yet as the conversation dragged on, the excuses piled up. Suddenly the house was under review. The seller wasn't sure. Perhaps she should look somewhere else. With every carefully crafted phrase, the realtor built a wall between Dana and the life she had earned. Dana left that office shaken. It wasn't just a rejection of an offer. It was a rejection of her. She sat in her car for nearly an hour, staring at the home she had already pictured her children running through, feeling that heavy mix of anger and helplessness so many before her had known. The cruel truth was that no matter how much she achieved, no matter how perfect her application, her skin color had already decided her worth in the eyes of someone holding the keys. But the story didn't end there. Because what Dana didn't know was that this same realtor, the one who had turned her away, would soon face a downfall that no one could have predicted. The housing market was about to take a devastating turn, and the very listing she had been denied would become the center of a collapse that revealed far more than prejudice. Would the weight of injustice finally shift, or would history repeat itself yet again? Weeks later, Dana drove past the house that had slipped through her fingers. The for sale sign still stood out front, but something was different. The once neatly kept yard looked unkempt, the bright available sticker now replaced with price reduced. Then another, and another. The realtor who had dismissed her so casually was scrambling to sell in a collapsing market. As the housing crash spread, deals fell apart, buyers vanished, and listings sat untouched. The same realtor who had told Dana she wasn't a fit for the neighborhood now faced mounting pressure as her prized listings rotted on the market. And there, at the center of it all, was the very home Dana had been denied. For Dana, the sting of rejection had burned deep. But watching the arrogant certainty of that realtor unravel was a sight both bitter and surreal. It wasn't triumph. It was truth revealed. The illusion of power, stripped away by forces larger than prejudice, larger than profit. In the end, The gatekeeper who tried to control someone else's dream couldn't even hold on to her own. But this wasn't just about a house or a market crash. It was a moment that laid bare an ugly truth. Prejudice can deny opportunities, but it cannot protect those who wield it from the consequences of their own greed and arrogance. And as Dana stood there, watching the home she'd once imagined as hers now sit unsold and unwanted, one thought cut through all the noise. Was this justice or just irony? In the end, Dana never bought that house. She chose not to. Watching the Realtor's empire crumble was never her goal, but it became a reminder that no wall built from prejudice can stand forever. The rejection she faced left scars, doubts, questions, and quiet moments of anger, but it also awakened something powerful: resolve. Dana redirected her energy into finding a home where she was welcomed, and in doing so, she reclaimed her dignity on her own terms. But her story isn't just about one woman and one lost house. It's about a system that still decides who belongs and who doesn't, who gets opportunity and who is shut out. It's about how racism hides behind smiles, contracts, and polished offices, while its damage lingers in silence. And yet, in the rubble of the Realtor's downfall, a truth emerged. Injustice cannot stop time, and greed cannot escape consequence. The market may have punished one person, but the deeper question remains: how many others are still being denied, unseen, unheard, and uncounted? Dana's story is a mirror. It forces us to ask, how often do we walk past these injustices as if they were just business as usual? How many dreams are crushed quietly without a market crash to expose them? This wasn't just about real estate, it was about worth, dignity, and the human right to dream without barriers. The real question is, when will we finally stop allowing prejudice to decide who gets a key and who gets locked out?